Welcome to the deep dive. Today's mission is to really unpack the August 23rd, 2026, 6 a.m. news brief from the Daily Tech Reader.
Yeah, and there's a lot to cover today.
There really is. We're going to be connecting the dots between geopolitical choke points, the AI arms race, and, ultimately your wallet.
Because they're all incredibly connected right now.
Exactly. Oh, and just a quick disclaimer before we get going. This source does contain some pretty politically charged material.
Right.
Yeah, it involves President Trump, Canadian PM Mark Carney, and various Iranian leaders. So we are strictly reporting the source's contents impartially today.
Right. We're definitely not endorsing any specific viewpoints here.
No, not at all. We're just reading the map.
Yeah.
So let's start with this whole friction economy thing, because global trade right now, to me, it's like a major highway system where the biggest toll booths are just suddenly blocked off.
Where they've doubled in price.
Right, which is forcing everyone onto these really expensive back roads.
That's a perfect analogy. Because countries are already having to bypass the usual disruptions. Like, Iraq is currently negotiating overland export routes through Turkey and Jordan.
Just to avoid the waterways.
Exactly. And that drives up costs everywhere. I mean, it's pushing Brent crude to, like, $94.39 a barrel.
Wow, almost $95.
Yeah. And you have Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent prepping what he calls the toughest American sanctions ever on Iran.
Which I imagine is not going over well.
No, it's not. Iranian security chief Mohsen Rezai is actually threatening oil routes completely outside the Strait of Hormuz in response.
Wait, outside the strait? That's a huge escalation.
It really is. And, it's not just the Middle East driving up these costs.
Yeah.
Right next door, we've got a massive U.S.-Canada trade dispute erupting.
Oh, yeah, the tariffs.
Yeah, 50% U.S. tariff on $20 billion of Canadian imports.
$20 billion. And didn't PM Mark Carney call it, what was the quote?
He called it economic aggression.
Right, economic aggression. So moving physical goods, moving oil, it's all getting incredibly expensive.
Oh, for sure.
And this directly collides with the massive infrastructure demands of, well, the next big boom, which is artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the AI power paradox. Because the scale of AI infrastructure spending right now is just bordering on unprecedented.
It's wild.
The industry took on $220 billion in debt issued just in 2026 alone.
$220 billion in a single year.
Yes. And you have companies like Etched reaching a $21 billion valuation. Plus, ACE Robotics is predicting a ChatGPT-style breakthrough for physical robots by 2027.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting to me. With tech buyers now demanding, measurable business gains before approving more spending.
Right, the ROI has to be there.
Exactly. Aren't these companies taking on a dangerous amount of debt for AI without a guaranteed payoff?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially with all the friction they're facing. Like, you have 29 states suing Meta over child safety.
Yeah, the regulatory heat is intense.
And OpenAI having to defensively launch ChatGPT for teens, it just seems incredibly risky.
It is risky. And the power and processing demands are so high and energy costs are so unpredictable, like we saw with oil, that the market is actually trying to invent a safety net.
A safety net? Like what?
Well, the CFTC is exploring this concept of compute derivatives.
Wait, compute derivatives? Meaning what? Like trading computing power on Wall Street?
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like an airline hedging jet fuel.
Okay.
If you are building an AI product, you need to lock in the price of processing power for next year today.
Because if electricity costs spike, you're bankrupt before you even launch.
Right. So they want to turn raw computing power into a tradable commodity, just like oil.
That is fascinating. But okay, so if compute power is becoming the new oil, this collision of high energy costs and AI integration has to be violently reshaping the everyday job market.
It really is. I mean, tech jobs are totally shifting. Thomson Reuters is cutting 500 engineering roles.
Wow, 500.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's this crippling shortage of electricians, cooling specialists, power grid professionals.
Because you can't run a massive data center if it overheats.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for someone looking to future-proof their career right now?
Well, the source highlights that employers basically want workers who can audit AI for errors.
Like a human fact-checker.
Right. People who can combine deep technical knowledge with practical business judgment. AI can write the code, but you need a human to know if the code actually solves the business problem.
So human judgment is still the premium skill.
Absolutely.
Well, that leads me to a pretty wild final thought here.
Okay, let's hear it.
If computing capacity is truly becoming as vital and heavily traded as crude oil, will the geopolitical wars of the 2030s be fought over access to data centers and power grids rather than oceanic straits?
Oh, wow. That's a heavy thought.
Right. Definitely something to think about the next time you're just, asking a chatbot to draft an email.